Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. And look at that. The sun is just about to start rising. We can see it just coming up over the horizon. Good morning. Today is March 9th, 2022. And I'm Kenny Bulgari, your host of the party. And what is it that we need to do? Oh my God, so much happening. Geopolitical stuff. Fed stuff, central bank stuff, European central bank stuff, Reserve Bank of Australia, everybody chiming in now as we move on through this drama. So what is it that you need to know? While nothing has really changed overnight, investors are going on a global shopping spree. European markets are surging this morning and U.S. futures are following suit. All while Vlad continues to push deeper into Ukraine. More multinational companies are joining forces and cutting ties with Russia, something I think is really, really great. And cryptos are on the rise. Shorts running for cover after the executive order coming out of the White House suggests that maybe there's a conversation to have. And what are we having for dinner tonight? Well, it's a side dish. It's a sweet corn crème brûlée, and we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so look, yesterday, stocks extended their declines, but they thrashed around, getting whiplash as investors were searching for stability. Stocks all over the place as investors and algos reacted to the latest headlines. And then Joey takes the stage telling us that the U.S. will no longer import Russian energy, that's oil or natural gas, telling us that we need to be energy independent, which is kind of comical because we were energy independent, but that's another story. And in a new twist, recent polls showed that 55% of the Democratic Party wants the U.S. to produce more oil, which is also comical. But you can't make this up because who would believe you? By the end of the day, it was a mixed performance. The Dow losing 185 points, the S&P off 31, the NASDAQ down 35, transports down 56, while the Russell ended the day up 12 points. The 10-year Treasury ended the day yielding 1.89%. That was up from 1.75. Gold up another 3% to end the day at $2,060 an ounce, up 12% since February 24th, the day that Putin marched into Ukraine. Oil continues to rise as the tension builds and as Joey and Bojo, the UK Prime Minister, announced bans on Russian energy. But the rest of the EU choosing to sit this one out since they're utterly dependent on the Russians, which is now painfully obvious. But it is not yet known what's next. Vlad has suggested that he doesn't need them to ban energy. He could just stop delivering it. And that sent markets once again lower, right? Comments like this continuing to add angst to an already nervous market environment. It was interesting for sure yesterday. Only 2 of the 11 major S&P sectors rose. Energy up 1.6% and consumer discretionary, XLY, was up 0.2%, which is interesting. Energy, I understand, but consumer discretionary? If you look further, though, you'll find that retail also was a beneficiary. The XRT, which is the retail ETF, gained 2.2%. And if you look even more closely, you might better understand. Those 2 sectors are among the worst performers this year. The XLY and XRT were both down nearly 21% coming into yesterday morning, leaving them among the worst performers year to date. In fact, even worse than tech, XLK, which is doing better than those, having been down only 18% coming into the day yesterday. So if the tone is beginning to change, if investors are looking for opportunities or bargains, if algos are combing the landscape looking for dislocated names, then look no further. Those are just 2 examples of what has become a value opportunity. Other areas that might offer longer-term opportunities include communications, the XLC, down 17% year-to-date. Basic materials, XLB, down 12%. And if you look outside of the majors, you'll find opportunities in super regional banks. The KRE ETF, which is down 5% and is sure to benefit along with all the majors as the Fed promises to stay the course and raise rates multiple times in 2022. The XLF, which is off nearly 9% year-to-date, gives you exposure to all the big boys. And with individual names like JP Morgan and Bank of America down 20% and 15% year-to-date, they provide longer-term, solid opportunities for longer-term investors. Other sectors I like, and ones that I've been talking about. Cybersecurity is going to become even more important as we navigate the future. Hack, H-A-C-K, is just one of the ways to play this. It's down 11% year to date, and this morning news hits the tape that Google is announcing its intent to buy cybersecurity firm Mandiant, right? MNDT for $5.4 billion or $23 a share in an all-cash offer. That's a 21% premium over where it was trading on Tuesday when rumors of these discussions leaked into the marketplace. Artificial intelligence is also a place to plant some money. Bots, right? BOTZ down 25% year to date. Alternative energy offers opportunity for those that have the time and risk tolerance. IEA is one way to consider this. It was flat until yesterday when it popped by 9% after reporting earnings, beating forecasts and upping guidance. The push up and through its long-term trend line suggests that we could see it rally another 3 or 5 points, resulting in a 25 to 40% move up from here. This morning, though, the tone is very different than yesterday. European markets are surging. They're up better than 4.5% across the board at 6 o'clock in the morning. The dippers are scouring the landscape for all of these dislocated names as they make a bet that the economic impact of the sanctions on Moscow are already priced into the markets and that the recent sell-off has provided some interesting opportunities for longer-term investors while providing shorter-term opportunities for the day trader types. Look, the drama is far from over. Global investors need to continue to brace themselves for surging global inflation from the commodity price rally that we're all witnessing, and the possibility of slower global growth due to rising rates. So it is very much a tangled web that we weave for central bankers. Expect to hear more from these talking heads in the days ahead. In fact, Australian Reserve Bank Governor Phil Lowe said that a rate increase is plausible given the recent Russian action. Thursday, we're going to hear from the ECB President Christine Lagarde, right? European Central Bank President. And many are now expecting that her comments are going to reflect caution as this crisis has upended the global outlook. Yet, the move is probably still to start to raise rates. Then next week, we're going to hear from the Fed, which shouldn't be a surprise at all since he already preempted the meeting, telling us last week that we can expect a 25 basis point rate increase in March with more to come in the months ahead. Just, is it going to be 7 or 8? Probably not. 4? Probably yes. Now, if we hear something different than what we expect, then all bets are off, right? Because investors are already priced in the moves that Jay suggested were on the horizon. Remember, the markets can deal with clarity. Good or bad, it can deal with it. What it has trouble with is inconsistency and uncertainty. So I think Jay made it fairly certain what was going to happen in the markets are pricing it in. U.S. futures this morning are following Europe's footsteps. Early indications are for a bang-up rally the moment the bell rings. Some of this is the result of shorts running for cover, while others are longer-term investors scouring for opportunities. At 6 o'clock, the Dow futures are up 525, the S&P's up 75, NASDAQ surging ahead by nearly 300, and the Russell ahead by another 40 points. And this does make sense. I mean, the push lower was wide and at times indiscriminate. Over time, investors will correct these inconsistencies and find value. Tomorrow brings us the monthly CPI report, and by now you know that it's expected to show inflation is not abating. The month-over-month numbers up 0.8% and 0.5%, while year-over-year numbers are expected to be up 7.8% and 6.4% respectively, all higher than last month. Oil, which pierced $130 a barrel yesterday, is trading a little bit lower, currently at $122 after its parabolic rise over the last couple of weeks. So seeing it take a little bit of a breather is probably normal. Cryptos have also joined in the fun after having been under pressure of late. This morning, we're seeing Bitcoin surge by more than $4,000 to trade at $42,500, while Ethereum is up $300 at $2,750. Trading volumes up by 10%. Many of the shorts now covering their short position, which sent both assets surging. The idea that nickel has been halted after trading was frenzied and shorts attempted to cover is only adding interest to this story as well. Shorts don't want to be caught with their pants down if the tone suddenly changes and prices surge. And if nickel's any indication of what could happen, better to be safe than sorry. Look, there was that executive order out of the White House which kind of stirred all this motion about the role that cryptos will play in the future. So just keep your ears open for that, because that will be a very interesting conversation. The S&P ended the day down 30 points at 4170. We did test as low as 4157, just 40 points shy of the key 4114 level that I have been discussing. Today appears to be a risk-on day, so I would expect to see stocks rally hard in an attempt to correct the recent selling. We remain in the 41.14, 44.60 trading range. 41.14, remember, is key. I suspect that any advance today is going to be met with significant resistance, unless, of course, there is a change in the narrative, right? Because I still expect bumpy roads ahead. This is by no means over. So what are we having for dinner? Well, it's a side dish. It is absolutely spectacular. Sweet corn cream brulee. It's a dish I had at the Quality Bistro in New York City last year. It's on 120 West 55th Street. Be sure to stop in and have dinner. Trust me, you are not going to be disappointed at all. Anyway, one of the dishes I had was this sweet corn creme brulee. It was a side dish. It was not a dessert, although it could be. It was spectacular, so here it is. And if you don't want to make it, just go to dinner at the Quality Bistro because they serve it up really, really nicely. Okay, so for this you need 1.5 cups of corn, right? Sweet yellow corn. You need 4.5 teaspoons of butter. You need 3 cups of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of 2% milk, 8 large egg yolks, 1.25 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. You want to divide that, right? Half and half. And you want 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. Now, in a large saucepan, you want to saute the corn in butter until it's tender, right? Then reduce the heat, add the cream and the milk. Heat until the bubbles form around the sides of the pan. Let it cool slightly. Transfer this to a blender, cover it and process it until smooth. Strain and discard the corn pulp, and then return that to the pan, right? Because you don't want it to be pulpy. You just want it to be nice and creamy and smooth. Now, in a small bowl, you want to whisk together the egg yolks and 1/4 cup of sugar. Stir a small amount of the hot cream into the egg mixture. Return all to the pan, stirring it constantly. Now stir in the vanilla, but you have to continue to stir it. You can't just walk away from it. You need to stand there and stir it. Now you want to transfer this mixture to like 6-ounce ramekins, right? You want to place those in a baking pan. You want to add in 1 inch of boiling water to the pan, just so it comes up the side of the ramekin. You want to bake it uncovered at 325 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes, or until the centers are just set, right? The mixture will jiggle a little bit. Remove the ramekins from the water bath, take them out, let them cool for 10 minutes, cover and refrigerate now for at least 4 hours. Then take them out of the fridge. Place the ramekins on a baking sheet. Let them stand at room temperature for about 15 minutes. Now sprinkle some sugar on top. Put it under the broiler, 8 inches from the heat. Let it broil for 4 to 7 minutes or until the sugar is caramelized. Do not burn them. Remove and serve immediately. And if you're using this as a dinner side, serve immediately. If you're using it as a dessert, then put it back in the refrigerator, let it get cool, and then take it out when it's time for dessert. Either way, you are not going to be disappointed with this dish because it was so delicious. And like I said, if you don't want to make it, just go and have yourself dinner at the Quality Bistro. You will not be disappointed in any event. The sun is coming up. The day is getting started. I'm preparing to go on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo at 7 o'clock, so I hope you'll tune in. In any event, take good care until tomorrow.